casting those loving eyes back on me. But it's alright. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. The nightingale and the lark sing that it's alright. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. The hummingbird and the hawk know that it's alright. She won't hold you like I hold you. She couldn't even if she tried. She won't love you like I love you. And if it wasn't true, giving up last night, I'm giving up this fight. Baby, I won't be giving up on you. Last night, making dinner, I knew you were hiding from me. You would smile and then you'd stop. I knew your phone was buzzing from her. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. The nightingale and the lark sing that it's alright. It's alright. It's alright. The hummingbird and the hawk know that it's alright. She won't hold you like I hold you. I am holding you. Hello. Oh, hello. Welcome. Welcome to my onesie. I'm wearing a onesie today. I only have onesie in my name. And welcome to the party. Beautiful peeps. Here we are. Oh, it's all right. Yeah. Woo, I'm making noise. Morgan's here. Yes. And you're hearing my voice. Yes, Carolyn's here. I am making some noise out of my body because today is all about unabashed gratitude. I'm not going to be scared to show my gratitude and show my joy. It's radical joy. I got some fierce love coming at you. It's fierce. It's like a mama lion love. This is hard, y'all. And I read this. I mean, it's still hard. And a year in to just learn new social customs and also not be around people besides very few people. And those very few people, we study their gestures and their looks and their eyebrows. And then we just stare at one face for too long and then we start yelling at them. It's just natural. Hey, I'm so glad you're here. So I did read a quote today that I want to share with y'all. That from this writer, Greg Ellison. His grandmother taught him this, that he should try to change the world, but he probably can't change the whole world, but you can always change what's within 3 feet. And we've been thinking a lot about feet lately. Right? We think about 6 feet, the term "I wouldn't touch him with a 6-foot pole" is a reality now, right? It's never been so real. But within 3 feet, we can change. We can change the world. We can change the world of who we touch, who we speak to, how we speak to them. So that means not only the people in your home and that are in your bubble, but the grocery person or the checkout gal, and then I'm expanding my mind to think of this as 3 feet. So really, truly, you are 3 feet from your screen. I'm 3 feet from my screen. We're meeting in the middle, and we are creating this communal moment, this garden, if you will, where I have put some seeds in the ground. I did not know exactly what the seeds would look like when I started gardening this orchard, and now I've bloomed them to a certain extent. And I say, come one, come all. This is a free orchard. Come in, come join me. Let's sit under a tree. Let's eat some delicious fucking apples. Yeah, my fierce love is coming at you, as well as my seed. My seed is oh good. I'm glad I sound good. My seed is spraying everywhere, all around you. Yes. And it is radical. That's the crazy thing, is that radical joy is an act of resistance. And so my last little part of my sermon here is that, I mean, we're just in a collective moment of personal, communal, economic, health shakiness, and also an unveiling of the shakiness of our entire structures that we have formed in this country and the world with white supremacy. And so it's hard because the media naturally focus on the most violent actions and the most disruptive and important violence in the world. And though that is very important to note, and it's so important that we can catalog this violence, our brains are wired to get riveted to things that are in danger. So it's really easy to feel like, oh shit, the entire world is falling apart every day. And so why wouldn't I just give it up and drown in a bottle of whiskey? I'm not going to drown in a bottle of whiskey right now, but I am going to toast you, because my sacred affirmation today is that joy is not easy. It is radical. And I want to summon it in my body and my spirit and toast to you to joy, to joy. Really, this is just all an excuse to day drink. And I'm not even a booze hound, but I like it occasionally if it's a mezcal that my brother bought back from Oaxaca. So cheers to the radical act of joy. And joy is connecting to realizing, it's weird to say, but it's joy is connected to the fact that we're going to die. I know that's weird to say, but the fact is it's ephemeral. So every moment we have to choose, what are we going to do with these limited moments? Are we going to stress about the amount of Instagram followers we have? No, I don't think so. Instead, I'm going to cultivate daily gratitudes, daily joys. See, oh yes, Bill's in from Scotland. I have so much joy for Bill Baird. So I've just decided today that I'm going to start a journal of small successes. And I'm going to title it that. And it's just going to be my journal of small successes to combat, the upheaval of the world. And for the last 2 months, I've been waking and trying to do three daily gratitudes, which I hope that you will try, because try it for 21 days and you can see how it does slightly transform your life. Because if our daily habits create patterns, and our patterns create our character creates our destiny. So let's start with the daily habits. joy is a muscle. Joy is the connecting to the common experience that we're not here forever. And so, yes, to live is to dance with death. I love that. That's a Lorca quote that Morgan gave. Thank you. Yeah, so that was a really good Lorca quote. Yeah, so today we are joining together with me and my little boozy moment. Even if it's nighttime where you are, I've got my 4 eyeballs looking into your heart center, and I'm just here to say, here we are, and let's look at some fruit and let's eat it under under a tree together. I can't wait to have like the dripping fruit down my body and to be laughing at something that you said across the orchard, and for us to just sit back and revel and don't want to fight no more. Speaking of fighting, something that I've been fighting against is screen fatigue. And it's weird to talk about this when I'm asking you to join me in a screen moment, but we're dealing with the tools we have. For a long time, I have been reflecting on this. And for many years now, I think it's been 8 years, I've been singing this song that's a favorite of many of my fans. It is written by a friend of mine named Neil Gaiman. And Neil is mainly a not fantasy novel writer, but he wrote this song and I heard it at a little cabaret thing. And I said, I got to sing that song. I'm going to sing the shit out of that song. And I've toured it around the world. And it's interesting that, if our lives are these kind of constellation of stars that we create these patterns and lines from, the fact that this song became so important to me, I began to have a friendship with Neil. And then March 2020, Neil became a little bit of a savior because he allowed a country home that he had to be where I ran to a pastoral existence, to run away from the fear of the fear that we all experienced in March 2020 of like, is this the apocalyptic breakdown? And so I have eternal gratitude to him. And then this song that you're going to hear right now was recorded in his sauna. So this is part of my sauna sessions that I did with an incredible guitar player named Wyndham, who is very handsome, but I'm sorry you can't see his face in this video because he's got a giant duck mask on, because we were not bubbled up and in a small room. But you can just imagine his dreamy eyes. I hope he's watching this. Oh, Wyndham, I wish you were my next door neighbor again. Because he would walk by so handsome that I would press myself to the window like I was in some sort of Jane Austen movie. And I'd be like, because I was so out of practice with the normal flirtation of life. I hadn't seen anyone but people I was, in a domestic partnership or related to. And, you can't just sexually objectify those people so easy. So I would press myself and I'd be like, oh, there he is. I caught a glimpse. I'm going to show my ankles now. Maybe you'll notice. But I finally talked to him and found out he was an incredible guitar player. And so without further ado, here's a little song to get you warmed up. This is I Google You. I Google you when it's late at night and I don't know what to do. I find photos you've forgotten you were in, put up by your friends. I Google you when the day is done and there's nothing left to do. I read your journal, that blog you kept your month in France. I have watched you dance. I have watched you dance. And I'm pleased your name is practically unique. There's only you and a would-be PhD in chess Chesapeake, who writes papers on the structure of the sun. I have read each one, and I know that I should let you fade, but there's that box, there's your name. Nothing seems to make the pain grow less or fade or disappear. I should save my soul and crawl back in my hole, but it's too easy just to fold and type your name again, type your name again, type your name again. I Google you whenever I'm alone and feeling blue, and each scrap of information that I gather seems to say you have found somebody new, somebody new. And I know it shouldn't matter, I wanna blow up my computer, but I don't. I just sigh and I Google you. Oh yeah, I Google you. Oh yes, I love Morgan wrote, he is pressed against the wind with material, even without seeing his face. Yes. Oh, I do love that song. Yeah, I do. Yes, thank you. I love that song, and yeah, everybody get into the sauna. Get into the sauna with me. Just come on in. Get in. Step into. Let's sweat together. It's like let's do the antithesis. Like next year, picture. Yes, I just want to picture. I'm going to turn all of my performances into just saunas. Actually, side note, I do yearly perform for this thing that I've gone to since I was a baby. I've gone to a festival where I do this secret midnight performance on a Saturday night in an outdoor sauna shower fire complex where most of the audience is naked and I'm clothed. So if I get nervous, I just imagine them without skin. And no, just kidding. If I imagine them clothed, I put them in 18th century garb and like corsets. Yeah, we're Googling a lot of things right now. Yeah. Oregon Country Fair and OCF in the house. And okay, so without further ado, I just love that saying. I want to introduce the man, the myth, the legend that was the driving force behind this video of Under. But before I bring him on, I'm just going to give you a little tiny connect the dots of the genesis of the song. So I was contacted by this amazing theater group, the Civilians, and they're out of Brooklyn, and they're kind of a edgy, whatever that means. What does edgy mean? They're edgy. They're an edgy theater company. They're so on the edge of being nerdy. They contacted me. They do incredible things. They take real life interviews, and so in order to make theater more accessible and current, because sometimes we have this hard issue of the fourth wall. How is that interesting? Especially when we have these moments where like, I'm breaking the wall. How can fourth wall be interesting? They take real life interviews and they transform them through collaborative work into theater. And so I was given the project for one of these nights that the Civilians put on at Joe's Pub. And it was the series was called Let Me Ascertain You Fucking and Dying. Can I say that? I can say it because this is my show. I mean, I've let go of like Tennyson, my 5-year-old, not knowing the word fuck. It's just a fun word, and he doesn't have to know like the hardcore meaning of it, but just let's say the word fuck, fucking duck. So I don't want to, but then he's going to go to kindergarten. Is he going to say it all the time? Who knows? So, but let's just say it right now because he's not in the room. So the civilians, they contacted me and they said, we want you to write a song. And here is the prompt. And I love an assignment. It's one of the only ways I'll make art. And so they're like, the prompt is this interview of a woman who had public sex. I'm going to say fuck, but I'm going to spell sex. Public sex in this art project by this Austrian art collective named Monochrome, where they buried people alive, put an ultra heat sensitive camera inside the coffin, buried them in a public space, and projected the lovemaking onto a wall in San Francisco, Austria, all throughout the world. They did this project. It's not my kink, but it did, listening to the interview, it kind of conjured a lot of questions I had about like, what is, I think about death a lot. Like it's connected to my appreciation of joy. So what is, fucking in a coffin, like sex, death, taxes, right? Those are the only things that are, is that the saying? Sex, death, and taxes? Those are the only 3 things that I care about because I really care about taxes. So I listened to this interview and the whole time I'm like, wow, this is something I would never do. But what are the sides of me that are interested in this kind of this fetishized, like the extreme kink goth side. And so then I went on exploration. The song was something, and then it transformed into something else. In the end, it's strange because that was the genesis. In the end, the song is a love letter to audiences. It's like an invitation. Do you want to go under with me? And by that, I mean, do you want to go to an intimate space that is beyond pleasantries? Do you want to go to a place that is about sensuality? Do you want to go to a place that is about sweat, about tenderness, about pathos, about mystery? Enter these doors, close the doors in the space of the cabaret and the nightlife that shall be our church. Lock the doors. Don't lock them. That's a little scary. But maybe, put a flower garland. So we know that we're in here. This is us. This is only happening for us. Do you want to go under with me? And so every time I sang it, it was a love letter to an invitation, like sit back. I'm in charge. I'm going to sweetly dom you. I'm going to sit you back in the most loving, tender way. And I'm going to spank and smooth us through the next 120 minutes. I wish I could all spank and smooth you through the next 30 minutes. But I am. And yes, La Petite Mort, the little death. Right, Morgan. See, I have to point out that Morgan Jeunesse is an incredible, what's the word for when somebody does that thing that she does? Morgan, say what the title of your, what you do for, No, it's for theater. She comes and she investigates the deeper meanings behind everything. Dramaturg. Thank you, Debs. Debs is in the room, dramaturging it up for me right now. Yes, so the little death. And then I met Shawn Gadley, and he was attracted to this song, and he viewed it in an entirely different way, which I love this about art. So that's my short intro. Short is we don't know what short. What is short and long? And I met Shawn. Let's talk together about how we met. So Shawn Gadley,
hey,
give a sound of applause. Yes.
Too kind. Stop, y'all. Oh my God.
Yes. See, I need to mainline the sound of applause. I'm such a desperate whore for it. I just need to snort it out. Shawn, you look beautiful. I love your bangs.
As do you, love. Always, Rizo. Thank you for that.
Oh, thank you, baby. Where does that applause come from, dude? It's from an actual. No, we don't. It's from YouTube.
From
It's
our
from up
heads.
here. Right? It's all an illusion.
Always.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. Like I've
Yeah.
not said that in a long time, but I'm very happy to be here with you, like to be here with all of y'all. These very uncertain times. Like this is one certain thing that I'm happy to be sharing.
Yeah. I mean, it's so funny because gearing up to this, I'm like, I mean, this is what the brain does, right? It's like, why am I doing this? This is meaningless. I'm just asking people to watch me talk.
Hell
And
yeah.
then when I get here, it's like, oh yeah, this is a substitute for connection, community. It's a way to envelop these people that are watching and commenting. And are you feeling that in any
I
way?
am. Like, I mean, you already know me, Rizzo. Like, I'm really not a big like blow my own horn kind of person. So like this is definitely something that I'm like, let's do it. Like this is something that's, I don't know, has so many multiple modes of joy and pain and life and depth and all these different like dichotomies that are existing. So like why not? Like this is
Why
this
not?
is from us, from the heart to all y'all.
What yes, from the hearts to your heart, and we can use this medium to connect it. And yeah, I've been thinking a lot. I mean, I don't like, can you tell me a little bit about like, are you who's in your community? Who are you seeing in real life right now?
Not that many people, to be honest. Like I'm as of last week, I'm fully back. So like I'm slowly making the transition out into this new I don't know, I'm not gonna add any adjectives, but out into this new world. But like for me, like in the past year, it's been, I can count on one hand the number of people I've seen in real life by choice.
Wow.
So it's been very isolating. It's definitely pushed me outside of my like introverted tendencies to like definitely like seek human contact.
Oh, you identify as an introvert.
I'm so surprised. Yeah, I definitely am. Like, I feel like when it's around art, like art pulls me out of that, like just to be able just to be out here and like put myself out there. But when art is not in the like in the equation, I'm definitely much so like I need to go home and charge for like probably a good 12 hours before I talk to anybody.
You're like, I am depleted. My battery is very low.
It is beeping in my ear, y'all. I got to go. Irish goodbye, like scene.
It's really interesting because I think my experience with you has been just so filled with joy and ease that, you know, it's challenging my own view of, for a long time, I've had to challenge my own view of introverts because I'm so extroverted that I have like a fear of introverts, I think, you know, that I won't be able to connect to them, that there's so much social anxiety that there's a wall that even I won't be able to break down. But in the last 5 to 10 years, I've been really exploring my own internal bias towards introverts and like understanding the introvert inside of me.
So, the introversary, I like that.
It's our introversary.
Yeah,
it's how we flow. And so just your basic energy, which is very, I'd say, steady and mellow. I think that when I think about collaborators, I'm always like, oh, how does this person make me feel A, safe, B, inspired, which is weird. It's like, do they soothe and inspire me at the same time? And I would say that I definitely felt that from you upon first meeting. You got a silkiness to you that Mama like.
I would agree.
Mama like your silk.
Hey, it's super smooth.
It's super smooth, but maybe it's super smooth because you charge for 12 hours beforehand. So
it is. I'm not gonna lie. That's definitely a part of it. Like I'm very particular about my energy and who I share it with. And like your energy, as soon as we met, I'm like, this is it. This is like, I don't know. I like to be challenged too. I'm like, Rizzo's energy is great. This someone's gonna challenge me outside of my typical, I would say, R&B hip hop space. And you've like elevated it so much. So I'm here for the energy right now.
I'm here to give you highbrow, lowbrow, everything in between. I've accepted that I'm middlebrow, but my middlebrow is actually working quite well. I've seemed to have relaxed enough, so my middlebrow's not unibrowing. So I wanted to talk about how we were connected because I've been thinking a lot about my rebrand. So I lost the lady, you know, my uncle lost it in the card game. No, I chose it. I chose to lose it for a various amount of reasons. I made a show about it, but it's so tumultuous to change your name, even to just lose a part of your name, that my amazing manager, Ben Yonis, he connected me with this guy named Joel Ramirez. And Joel works in a brand space, which I feel I have uncomfortability with even the word rebrand, which I'm looking at, because it makes me feel like, oh, it's calculated, it's commercial. The idea of rebrand is somehow false or surface. But when I spoke to Joel, I paid him. And also I'd never had the experience of paying someone some money to talk about an external vision of me or help me calcify what a new leaf would be. It was a very strange process, right? So in this kind of chrysalis moment, I had this long talk with Joel, and he had done research, and it was immediately apparent he knew what he was doing, because he does this with some companies as well. But he was so excited to work with an artist because he's an artist, and so like even taking away the layer of like, oh, this is a company and it's about seeing how someone sees our cornflakes, so we can have whatever millennials like our whatever kids like our, what are the generation XYZ. And in the conversation with him, it was almost like a beautiful kind of therapeutic discussion about where I was, what I wanted to discard, what I was envisioning for the future. What did that future vision look like? And then from that, what were the colors? What were the imagery? And he came back with these beautiful images of what Rizo could be. And I think a lot about the images he gave to me. It was kind of like the little super heroic. It was like a middle-aged woman superhero in a pantsuit, but these are all things that he got from me, a glamorous like woman who could walk and squat. And right, it's like for a long time, I've just been in really tight ass gowns that have bound my knees and hips. And so Joel is the one who, when I said, by off chance, do you know anybody who might want to help me work on a video project here? He automatically brought you up. And tell me how you and Joel met.
Okay. One, like, Joel's amazing. Big shout out to Joel Ramirez, like one of my homies for like almost a decade now. When I'm not creating music videos and directing like all this awesomeness, in the day and the night most times, I work in advertising. I'm a creative director. And about like almost 10 years ago, me and Joel were both a part of a internship program, fellowship, if you want to go that route, that was all about like ushering in minority groups within the ad industry. Like it's very much so like underrepresented when it comes to Black and brown creatives. So we joined this force. Like we met in New York, like in August, like the end of that summer. Like, I don't know, like nobody even introduced us. We just like really clicked very randomly, and we maintained a friendship since then, like not even living or working around the same corner or brands or cities or any of that. Like Joel is just good energy. So advertising was brought together. So that's one great thing. Shout out to advertising for that.
So they brought you in as to be like more, and how was that experience of being like the tokenism Black and brown voices?
Rizo is crazy. Like at that time I was a lot more naive to it. So it wasn't like, it's a lot of hindsight. Like in hindsight, that certain meeting was very uncomfortable, but I was like too happy just to be in the room to even think about it. But it was
like, I got this opportunity.
It was a situation where we all, like, it was about maybe 100 like different fellows that were doing it at that time. And we all had a community just of relating to each other about like all these Madison Avenue, like old Mad Men stories and how we were going to try to rewrite those. So that's kind of where we're at right now, is just rewriting history.
Right. And because advertising really is a way to, I mean, it's a cultural marker.
Yes.
I mean, how we talk to people to
like
make them buy things.
I feel like there are two different like modes of like creatives in advertising. There's the people that want to create like based off of what's popular, and there are the people that want to push like what could be popular and like what should be trendy and like what should be moral. And I feel like me and Joel definitely fit more into like that second category of just pushing like, hey, like we're not thinking about these people as like, I don't know, equal. Let's put them in an ad so like, hey, this person still exists this way. We should normalize everybody's existence.
Yeah, I think about that. Like, and also, did you say the word moral?
Yes, more. I know more is in advertising. I know It's
No.
more.
Wait, hold on. Let me rewind that. No, I think about the idea of moral and ethical ground a lot, and how I can infuse that into everything I do, and how it can infuse my internal compass as a culture maker.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been thinking a lot about TV because I would like to make a TV show. I've been wanting to make a TV show for a long time, but the process of making a TV show is this constant weighing of like what sells, but then what is your artistic vision? And it's really hard to connect them. And so I just wonder how you weigh those things of selling with the moral and artistic vision.
It's definitely an everyday challenge, Rizzo. I feel like I pick my battles most time, whereas like at least for me, like if 30% of the work that's being put out, like it somewhat is not related to selling something explicitly and is more about representation of a certain demographic or just giving awareness to a certain like underrepresented entity, then for me, like that's a decent balance. When I first got into the industry, it was definitely like 50-50, and that's not realistic. So like 30-70 is definitely like where I'm at right now.
But then our mutual friend, Michael Kilgore, the incredible performer and singer, props up to Michael. Please listen to his amazing album, A Man Born Black, and our conversation on my podcast, Baptized in Glitter. Okay, he would talk a lot about being the kind of Black body on stage to fill the quota, and so that's like, it's like not just about filling quotas, but it's about normalizing realities and existences as human.
Right? Yeah, like it's, I don't know. It's funny that we like. I know why you're laughing. Like it's funny, like even like having to say things like that out loud, thinking that that's how a lot of people still think. But it is, I don't know. It is very much still a token based, situation. Where I don't know. For me, like most of the time, like the creatives that I work with that are across like brown spaces, like these people, like they're like at least bilingual, trilingual, like learning how to adapt to corporate speak, in addition to how they speak at home, just to other languages. So it's always a benefit that I feel diversity always wins. And I feel like that's something I definitely saw within our shoot for this. Like when I think back, the entire shoot, like everybody there across races, identities, like sexual identities, gender identifications, it was like the United Colors of Benetton up in there. Like it was like
it was like some sort of like we had cast it for like, oh, we just want to make sure that every
let's check every box, like nobody's gonna come in here and
represented. But that really is a testament to the circles that you and Taylor have in your communities, in your artistic community in Chicago, and I'm so grateful for that, and some of the circus freaks that I got from Teatro Zinzani. As I was working on that show in Chicago while we shot this, it was my first experience of being like a casting director in a really easy way, because I just kind of swooped down on the service staff and the performance staff that were at Teatro Zinzani, this Spiegel Tent Cirque show that opened in the middle of the Chicago Loop in October 2019. And I just plucked from my little, hey, would you like to? And the vibe was so great. We'll see those in the behind the scenes a little later. But I do want to keep moving on because I want to talk about. So I met you. You came to the show. We chatted, and I said, really, what I need to do is fix this opening shot of Hit of You. If you haven't seen my music video, Hit of You, check that out. And I'm also interested in working with this girl that I met. This woman that I met on the rooftop of the artist housing they put us in Greektown in Chicago, because I was like sunning myself on the rooftop there, which was very, very luxurious to have a rooftop pool, checking my artist privilege. I'd never been given that as a performing artist. Like, here, come and perform, and you have a rooftop pool. So I was sunning myself there, and I noticed this really, really sexy lady, and also sunning herself. And I was watching, her just out of the corner of my eye, and there was this super aggressive floaty toy that had that was, I believe, an alligator, but it might have been an ice cream. It was one of the two. They're very close, but because the windy city, right, had picked it up on this rooftop, it was kind of terrorizing this woman. And so, I put on my kind of, hero pants, I believe. Well, they were just a pair of shorts, but I stepped in to save this damsel, really, because she kind of kept on pushing it away, and it would kind of come back menacingly. It would like hop across the pool and touch her leg, and then she'd kind of kick it away, and then it would hop across the pool, and just, it was basically non-consensually nibbling at her feet, right? Ice cream alligator. And so I stepped in, and I was like, "Excuse me, ma'am. I couldn't help but notice that this floaty's bothering you. Can I help you?" And I grabbed it and I took it out of the pool. And so,
so smooth, Rizo.
I'd like to introduce that damsel right now. Bring her to our little room, Ms. Taylor Darcy. Taylor.
Oh my God, I've been cracking up over here. I forgot all about the floaty. I think it was a donut.
It was a donut.
It might have been, or a unicorn. But yeah, we were both watching it, and then it kind of attacked. And then eventually, I think Rakesh moved it somewhere too. Because it was like,
I moved it. Don't put it on Rakesh.
Okay, you're right. You moved it. You saved the day. You saved me.
I was basically looking for any opportunity to talk to you, because I was also just like, I was like really liking your style, and I was like, how, because I'm always interested in how do you strike up conversations with strangers that are attractive, and so I basically paid that donut.
The truth comes out finally.
All right,
but we started chatting, and Taylor, you have a way of really just like tell it like it is, kind of automatically, that I really loved. And you told me you were a makeup artist, and I was like, oh, well, maybe you want to collaborate. I want to work on this thing. And you're like, yeah, I want to collaborate, but I want to assistant direct. And I was like, okay, all right, give it to me. Tell me what you want. And so,
and I did.
So yeah. So then I was like, well, I had talked with this guy, Shawn, and maybe we can all get in a room. We basically got into the communal room of that space that we were living in with the rooftop apartment building. And there is something really wonderful when strangers work well together, that you just kind of sandwiched into a space. And I noticed that right away. I feel like that kind of silkiness that we were talking about Shawn having earlier, and that kind of ease and accepting and the ability to take ideas and yes or no but maybe, is really like one of Shawn's great skills. And then Taylor being, I feel like, kind of a brave communicator of ideas, and like kind of bluntly just saying yes or no. And every time in an artistic collaboration, we need someone to say yes or no. Am I right?
Yeah. Hell
so
yeah.
Maybe you could, Taylor, it's so great to have you. And maybe you could speak a little bit to meeting Shawn and us being in that space together.
Yeah. The first time I met you, Rizo, which was hilarious, in the pool, and we got to talking, and they're like, oh, I want to pick up a scene. And my background is in the film industry, which got me into the makeup industry. And you talked about Shawn, just like you guys said, the energy was right. It felt very inviting. It wasn't like there wasn't a dictatorship. I hope I didn't have dictatorship, even though I shut shit down fast.
No.
But like, it was just like, hey, what can we do to do this one scene? Like, this is not for the video that we're showing today. This is for another video that we just did, the opening pickup scene. And honestly, I didn't realize how much we would be collabing until the day we shot the video. And we had Rizo like half naked laying on a tabletop. I had like glycerin all over you and feathers, and like Shawn and I were just like, we were vibing off of each other. And I'm like, Rizo, shh, you look good. shh, no, more eyeliner. Like, what's going on? Shawn, let's get some lights.
More
and you're
feathers,
just like,
more feathers.
yes, the wind. I don't know. And it just like, we hit it off. We all listened to each other. We all had great ideas and we respect each other's talents. And that's where it led to Under. And I was really happy about it.
Yeah. And I think that that's interesting that you said the word dictatorship, because I think a dynamic in the structure of filmmaking, theater making, for a long time has been patriarchal, really. Like even if it's a woman in charge, it's a patriarchal structure where it's like, so no, I'm the daddy. I call the shots, and basically, it's a structure of power. Mm-hmm. And so I'm always really interested in like, what are the spaces where we can successfully collaborate? Like, because that's where I feel like it's really key to have someone who's a yes or no person, because collaboration can also feel incredibly painful when people are too passive. Because it's like, we've all been in places where it's like nobody wants to say anything, and so nothing is done, and it's like, oh, I need a daddy. So it's like how to be the like loving daddy who's like, let's all jump in. And I think it's weird to say that daddy's okay, but patriarchal isn't okay. But that's what I'm saying. Shawn, do you have any thoughts about that kind of collaboration?
We all had our daddy moments.
Oh, like for me, like I enjoy working with all people, but I specifically like most of my best creative collaborations have happened with very strong women. So like I'm very, I don't know, my masculinity is not fragile by any means of like, oh, like I want to be the one running this. Like anytime throughout the entire shoot, like I would say multiple times, everybody felt open, like this is a collaborative space. Like I'm not running the show here. Like I'm just directing it along the way, but this is our vision collectively. And like Rizo, you and Taylor, like y'all ran with it. And like if it was a great idea, like most of what came out of even like both of y'all, I was like, that's a great push. Like let's not do what we talked about 2 months ago. Let's do this like this whole new way. And let's just see what happens. And that's all it really was, is like if it's a great idea, like it doesn't matter the source it comes from, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Oh, I will say that leadership is a fine balance, Shawn, and you balance it very well. Like you were very open to people on set as a director. There is a little bit of a hierarchy on set. Like if it comes down to a decision making, like the director should be able to make it. Sure. And you allowed a lot of people to speak their mind, but like you also had that balance of like, it is your show, but everybody respected that. So give yourself some credit, man. You're good.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I like imposter syndrome, like floats to the chat every now and then. So I'm gonna kick that back out.
Kick it back out. I know. Oh yay! Tuning in from London. We've got people tuning in from Europe and London. I'm so glad that.
Hey, London.
So yeah, and I would say on that note, I've been thinking a lot about tenderness and how tenderness, that word, it doesn't really like give we don't give it so much props, like because it's maybe deferred to like a lover or a mother, but it's like how to lead with tenderness and how to incorporate more tenderness into your day. And combining fierceness with tenderness, like I am fierce and tender and I'll flipping back and forth the whole time. But
goals in life.
I think it's time to unveil the video. Are you ready?
Yeah.
We're gonna see it. We're gonna do it.
We're gonna see it. So
okay.
Yes. In a few moments, we're going to do that, and then afterwards, we're going to bring Juan Jose, who was in charge of some major hair explorations, and maybe look at some of the original imagery that kind of excited us, that Shawn brought to us. But, ladies and gentlemen, and in betweens, those that identify with gender and those that do not, let us watch Under.
Yeah.
Once our bodies were buried with spices. Do you want to go under with me? Your mouth will be opened by ISIS. There's air just enough to be cleansed, redeemed. Clash against fantasy, cleansed, redeemed. Do you want to go under with me? Find the knife between my thighs, swirling through my throat. Sail right in to painted eyes. Sit back, I'll take your coat. The night is ours, no need to cry. Gather round, children, I'll tell you no lies. Tell you no story, just give you your own. And now you're all knocked up with seeds that I sown. Plans redeemed, clash against fantasy. Plans redeemed, do you wanna go under with me? Plans redeemed, clash against fantasy. Plans redeemed, do you wanna go under with me? Yeah, scrub it shut, then unbury me. I said no, you don't need to marry me, but half the boys we all are waiting to float a sea of ebony. So let's start at the end, holding dark with our light. You get me young and this house, no back to life. No need to repent, for now is our heaven. The last bride is here with our own procession. Plans redeemed, clash against fantasy. Plans redeemed, do you wanna go under with me? Plans redeemed, clash against fantasy. Plans redeemed, do you wanna go under with me?
Mm.
Yeah, I feel
Oh my gosh.
That
So
was
many looks, so many. Oh,
So
I
many
love
looks.
that video. Was fun. Yeah.
I sent
I'm
the
overwhelmed,
video
y'all.
last night to my collaborator who wrote the song with me, Yair, and he was like, hallelujah. It feels like such a party and so sexy, so joyous. And that's the vibe it gives me. And we all need a party right now.
Hell
right?
yeah.
We do. We do.
But it's like a party
Cheers.
with depth, you know? Cheers. Cheers to
Cheers to that.
Mhm.
Hey.
right? To be cleansed.
Redeemed.
What a fun video. It was a fun day. We got a lot done
Yeah.
that day.
Oh,
There was a lot of looks. There was a lot of
one
extras.
shoot day.
That room wasn't very big. Like that was all green screen.
Yeah.
And Shawn saw it all happening. Rizzo saw it happening. We made it happen.
And
It was
Taylor
great.
made it all happen. Like
Yes.
props
We
to
all
you.
did, y'all. We all did.
Yes.
We had a great team, and our stylist unfortunately can't be here today. But every time, one of my favorite looks, I don't know if you guys want to talk about favorite looks, but I gotta.
Please.
With the purple, like when you're in space, and she made that headpiece
Yeah.
and that purple outfit. Like when she told me the vision, and like what she wanted, and then when I saw it on you, I mean, all of the looks were beautiful. But I was just like, I don't know,
And
I just loved it.
It's so interesting because I would never ever choose something like that for myself because I'm super conscious of being like a curvy hourglass person that like to put myself in something so diaphanous. I'd be like, no, but they'll just see the line and we'll just go down. They won't know what goes in. But it's so exciting to have your looks in someone else's hands that you trust.
Mm-hmm. We took them.
Yeah. What parts of that come like just watching it now, like pop out to you, Shawn?
Oh my goodness. I was like literally over here crying, to be honest. Like it was just very like sensory overload. I haven't seen it like in
Oh.
such a long time, like since last year. So that was a lot just to take it all in. My favorite scene, I still will say, like, is definitely like the bride on a mantle, like a very like lo-fi look, I would say. It really is like this Rizzo
Yeah.
serving all face and like clean face, like the mask chain, all of that. Like that's still it's something like very, very metaphorical about it that I enjoyed the most. But like the scene came together perfectly. But like all of them did. That's just I don't know.
Yeah.
That was my first. A lot of close seconds.
Yeah. And Rizzo brought the jewel face thing to the meeting. Remember, like the first time we met, she's like, "This is gonna go in it." We're like, "Yes."
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, like
and remember the light, the beginning, that first scene. I'm like, we need to put a light in your mouth, and you did it. And I'm like, don't choke. I suggested. I'm like, oh my god, if she chokes,
literally.
But the light will look really cool in your mouth.
I'm amazed. Like, if Rizzo's like,
do you remember?
Yes.
Well, there's a little story of that because we were thinking about a lot of different ways for like illumination to come out of my mouth. And then I was like, I think that there's a light mouth thing that works. And I happen to be working in a circus show where there's a world-class magician named Ronan who is kind of has a spooky thing going. And I was like, he was very excited to share this kind of mouth light technique. And he's like, he uses it in shows. And so that was another fruit of the Teatro Zanzani experience. I want to say the name of the designer of that diaphanous lilac thing, Adrian Gilori. Ajo Vang is his couture line. But yeah, I mean, the looks were just so incredible, and part of that quick transformation, 1, 2, 3 in one day, was due to having such an incredible stylist team. And I really would like to bring Juan Jose into the mix.
Wow! Yeah, buddy. Cheers, Juan.
Cheers, everyone. Yeah.
Juan Jose is bringing the height of the hair. Wait, let's see everybody's height. Who's higher, Shawn or?
No, Juan got it. Juan got it today.
I think Juan takes it.
Cheers.
Juan is like higher the hair to closer to God, right?
Oh yeah.
Or goddess. How are you today, baby?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you so much for letting me be a part of the video. It's amazing, everything.
Oh,
I love challenges, and when I saw the pictures, when Taylor sent them to me, you know, I'm all about like challenges, and I love when it's like one extreme to another, and especially when you have to change them in less than 10, 15 minutes. I'm all about that. I love all that. So yeah.
You were a machine.
Juan is amazing. Juan is amazing.
Yeah.
And you brought in you had one assistant, Yang.
Yeah, yes, always.
And the two of you just like, I mean, it's a lot of work to make those extremes of hair 3 in one day.
Well, it is, but like, you know what, when you have like a very strong direction and everything what exactly is happening, that's the key to making anything happen. And like I said, it's just being prepared for everything. And like I said, challenges are like my big thing. So then I was like, oh my God, that seems like a challenge. Let me prepare and do everything. So it was great. It was lovely. It was amazing.
I want you to go on a hair challenge TV show. Can you do that?
I can do
that. Rocket.
No, there was a whole cast and crew too. It wasn't just Rizzo like that one, like Jose was doing. Like it was a whole like ensemble. So like, we did an amazing job with everybody. Every hair was laid in place.
That's true. And speaking of the whole ensemble, I just like I have to mention we said that the room was like a diversity panel, but there's something about that kind of you know, having all those all those people who are leaning in with joy and love in their hearts, and like perhaps an existence of being in other, it created such a vibe in the room that I felt from, I mean, just having like, you know, our PA Chelsea, who came from the circus world, and to having remind me the woman who made our food, what was her name? Who was on set? Corey?
Oh, sorry, my personal PA, Cara. Yes,
your personal, yes.
Yes.
Who was just there for it all and like vibing, and it was a party. I do remember that. Let's look at some of the behind the scenes imagery so we can revel in our Yeah, this is like me. It looks like I'm directing, but I'm just dancing.
I think we were all dancing a lot.
This I remember was a serious bra strap moment. I thought this was a very exciting photo to include because it shows how many people it takes to change a bra.
Those are the stylists. Shout out to the stylists, Taylor, Lisa. They
Lisa
killed it.
And Taylor too. Taylor too's here.
Taylor too. Yeah, they couldn't be here today because they're badasses and they're on their way to LA to do a gig. But kudos to them for finding these wardrobes and making that vision come alive.
All of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is Elena Gatilova, our featured go-go
So
dancer.
talented.
Who is a contortionist and aerial hoop artist that you should, if you ever see her name, she's been in Cirque du Soleil and she's incredible. And then Vinny Hunter.
I love this photo.
I know, so do I.
This needs to be
I love this photo.
It looks like it's 1960,
it does.
7.
Like,
I love Vinny.
My assistant Erin did her makeup. She was on set with me. I also did makeup, but she killed it along with that hair wand. Come on.
Well, that's
Come on.
Because sometimes you do need other people's opinions in terms of height.
We have a video for that, actually.
Like, don't ever ask me that again.
In the normal world, you always question if it's too big because you don't need to be too big. But I realized that in situations like this, the bigger the better. Anyway, so yeah.
So the sky.
I think we actually might. No, we don't. I love that. But we can go back to some stills. I had a vibe with the lighting designer on set. I thought it was really
a little bit. I
Yeah,
can feel the energy in that photo.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was into him. Yeah, or maybe I was just into myself, like this one. This is of Chelsea and of Shawn, and I feel like this is such a great photo because it just is like, we're here, we're making this happen, we're doing it with a smile. And yes, the three of you there, and the photo bomb in the back.
Car in the background.
Okay. And that is prep for that slick hair back moment. With the
look at that dope graffiti.
I know this picture looks like
I loved making your face so shiny for this.
Just Vaseline.
Basic.
And this is like a series because I think that Taylor too was helping, and then we realized we needed more help. And then that wasn't quite enough. Juan needed to come in and help to just rein back my face. It's just, also it's just like, what is this world that we're in? Like, what's happening? Yes.
I live
being in that space.
What was that?
This is one of my favorites.
Mine too. Mine too. I love this look.
I love textures, and I love, like I said, from one extreme to another. So I just love the sleekness of it, but also the fullness and like just it's.
But see, that's an example also of let's go back a little bit of that. I would never choose like a middle hair part and tucked behind my ears for my own vanity, but it's so good to like have someone say like, let's do something out of your normal, like, space of look. And it's exciting. That's how we change, through community often. We can keep going through these. That's it. Oh, can we watch some of the videos, or is that not okay? I wanted to show this video because Shawn just danced all day with people, like all the different things, and that was like part of the vibe on set, was like Shawn was just dancing along with us all day, step touching, but like the best audience member. And like, I also realized that my fitness level was not what I thought. If I could just like pummel through dancing on stage for this, giving you go-go vibes. Your wheels, John. We can move on from this.
Yeah, Shawn.
This is my-
Yes, Shawn. I
I
mean,
feel
just
like a really glorified
did,
like
you danced
like
the
dance
whole
mom
time.
over there. Like, come on, baby, like 1, 2, 3, like boom, boom, cat.
Kick higher.
dance
Kick
mom.
higher.
Fin, go, 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 twist, twist.
You are just a dance mom. But that's what you were for everybody. Even we have the choir images of the I remember you like. I mean, it was a real church moment. So to have the to have you as like the kind of church leader. Oh, this is some of the choir getting. They were like a glam rainbow choir,
Ooh.
just getting
Fire.
getting
Mhm.
done up.
That was fun.
And I love the was that your choice, Taylor, with the pop of color, of bright color on all of their eyes?
Yeah. Vanessa Myrick's. Shout out to her.
Yeah.
I got a brand drop, you know.
Oh,
it's
who
her
is that?
makeup.
What is it? Vanessa?
Vanessa Myrick's. She has neon palette and it's gorgeous.
Oh, well, good to know. I think everybody out there
Yeah.
needs to know the neon
I
palette.
know. Go get your Danessa.
That might be the end of the back behind the scenes. I wanted to show just a couple because just to close out the Eve, I wanted to just go from like the genesis to show how much Shawn brought with like firm, fierce ideas, you know, like to as a pitch, you know, and like for someone to just say, hey, I'm here, I've got these ideas, and to have them, I had never had a formal video pitch given to me with such professionality. And so it was very exciting to be like, oh, he's got a vision. And so I just wanted to show a little of the approved music video treatments. So like we used green screen, and then it's this idea of this like retro film aesthetic and he brought us these videos of where is it? Oh, well, the go back one. So a lot of these kind of Nancy Sinatra, Tina Turner,
the Veronicas, like the list goes on and on. Like, sorry, you go ahead with it.
No, you go. Yeah. And then also this kind of clear, we obviously fully took that kind of the halo from that moment. I don't even know what Molly Goddard style garment means. What does that mean?
I don't remember. I remember like one of our like fashion friends threw that in at some point. Like I went to Google and like this is it, because I already had this vision of like a big blob, and then like I want to say like Taylor Hanson like threw that in there, and then from there like that's where the look came from.
And oh yeah, and so and then did I come with the chain mask before you? Yeah, okay. So like I had bought that
the first time we all met.
Yeah, I was like, I need to use this chain mask.
Like, okay.
Little
Let's
did I
do it.
know I'd be spending a year and a half in a mask. So I I have found that chain mask doesn't work so great for corona protection.
That's a shame.
So next up, I think that we're I know what time flies with our boozy brunch. I'm gonna finish.
I have one shout out. I have one shout out that I want to give after I take this sip. I want to give a shout out to like my homie, my brother, my friend, and art director Alex Sikora. Like he did like all of the green screen backdrops. Like I'm good, but I'm nowhere near as good as Alex. And he designed each of those green screen backdrops like one by one, painstakingly, and they turned out amazing. Like to the point where like reality got completely blurred. Like, is this real? Like, were we there or not? But the answer is no, we weren't. So shout out to Alex.
Yeah.
And shout
Good
out
job,
to
Alex.
He does incredible work, and everybody. I just thank you to all the people that came and were part of that shoot. And
Yes.
we do these things like for little to no money. I mean, out of artist pockets. There's not really a music video. Oh, that's an incredibly lucrative thing. You know, it's like, and I think that what I wanted to finish on is this idea of like, what is a productive life? Like we can feel like the things we do are kind of in our little circles and they're not making ripples, and it's not turning into some sort of huge success and the idea of success. And this year has been very challenging for all artists to view their own productivity, their own place in the world, their own view of success. Oh yes, big shout out to Cara Doss, because we could not have done it without her. And we do have to eat, man. But thank you for that.
You gotta eat.
Sexual harassment on set is real. No, that is my partner, Nicholas Raymond, who enables me to have a life with love and joy and family. But I do want to say, like, it can feel like what are we doing these things in a space with that where a music video is not going to mean some sort of big advancement in our career. But I think that this year has shown us that the value in finding these moments of creating art is what makes our life.
Right.
And that there is value for those viewing that art, which is a reflection of the world. We're in that moment. Yair Evnine, who wrote the song with me, is watching. So in that, and he wrote a great song. And so in that moment, we say, like, yeah, now that I can't be in a room where I'm just making art on a day, like, I see the value of that. And just to hold up in this year to really protect the moments of non-productivity in the world as we know it, like challenge how capitalism has changed our view of what is productivity, and seeing, like, planting seeds, growing things, making community, envisioning art as a productive nature of our lives. And I am so grateful that I could bounce into a city like Chicago with no contacts, and through one text and one floaty find these two people that then connected to their circles, and that everybody leaned in with so much compassion, joy, heart, fierce love, and that we could make something and then share it with the world. And so with that, that's probably the end of my speech.
Preach, Rizo, preach.
Cheers to you. We're gonna close out our little sesh by viewing the video. One.
Oh no. Rizo got the
Oh
cold.
no.
Rizzo down. I'm gonna close with a hottie cotty, just because joy is an act of establishing death. So one more time, thank you, Shawn Gadley, Esquire. Yay! This is Under from the album Indigo. Thank you, Taylor and Darcy, for joining me here and for connecting so many people. And thank you, Juan Jose.
Love you.
And love you. Kisses. Let's watch Under again, and I'll come back one more time to say goodbye.
Once our bodies were buried with spices. Do you want to go under with me? Your mouth will be opened by ISIS. There's air just enough to be cleansed, redeemed. Clash against fantasy, cleansed, redeemed. Do you want to go under with
Oh, should we see the credits? Oh no. It's all right. It's all right. Well, that'll live on YouTube. And I do want to just say, no, just me. I do want to mention that thank you for staying to the end, because you did. If you feel like getting 20% off of everything in my Rizo store, shirts or whatever, just use the code UNDERLOVERS. Just for like, if you feel like getting, eyes on your titties or anything that you want. Wow, that day drinking is really sinking in the last little bit. This is what happens when your 5-year-old is gone for a couple hours. No, also I want to just, one last thing is say that my life would not be feeling as easy and joyful and free without the lean in support of my patrons. I have had a little around 150 people. That's the wrong number right now that it's showing there, but lean in with $2 a month or $10 a month for what they want to get out of it. Subscribe to enable my survival and during this year and beyond, because I'm really interested in creating a community and life force and projects that go beyond the kind of hustle that most artists have to do when they're thinking about the next gig so I can put food on the table. So I've enjoyed it so much. People from around the world have come. It's a beautiful connecting web in this time where we lack connection. And if you don't want to get it in places online that kind of mine your human data, like Facebook and Instagram, though thank you for presenting these things right now. We use them even though we have problems with them. It's a great way to connect if you wanted to take a break from those things, but still have a feeling of a connection around like-minded people and discussion of things. I also write chapters of an upcoming book, Showgirl Tips for Survival. And I'm so grateful that you're still here. Thank you to the around 50 people that stayed through the hour, and we're at an hour 20, and I'm just going to close out with a heart. Love you. Bye.